What up, traders? What up, investors? Ken here from Dyslexic Investor, and thank you for tuning in for another fantastic video. Today, what are we going to be looking at? We're going to be looking at 3 stocks that have basically that squeeze mentality that has blown up again. We're going to be looking at GME, looking at AMC, and then Space, and then some other couple stocks that potentially could be creating this upward momentum, this gamma squeeze, this short squeeze, and so forth, into the rise that we're seeing in these other couple stocks. Again, full disclosure, this is very, 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 very risky, my friends, ladies and gentlemen. This is something that is not for the faint-hearted. You need the cojones of steel or just a very strong belly to withstand a lot of these whipsaw movements here. So without further ado, let's go ahead and jump into AMC. So AMC is the one that got on my radar quite a bit. I know a couple of folks within Discord were trading it and have had a position for some time. You can see here that first squeeze that we had for AMC was, again, that January timeframe, the same time around with the GME stuff. We've seen it kind of chip chop here for some time here. But then you saw the momentum kind of kick back up. You saw larger volumes coming in here, and it was holding. Again, we're looking at a daily chart too. Look, ladies, if you look up here, the D stands for daily, not for something else, you immature bastards. So again, looking at the Fibonacci tree from the swing high to swing low. So that previous high was around $20.34. To the low, the previous year was $1.91. It's insane, right? We saw it kind of really come back here, hit the orange line, which is the 34 EMA, and then bouncing between the 34 EMA and the 8 EMA here for quite some time. Really didn't do much of anything. People just like continue to say, whatever. But then you got that earnings coming out. It didn't drop substantially. It was holding this Fibonacci number here around $8.95. Been bouncing at that level multiple times, really just seeing some strong resistance. But at the same time, you didn't really see any volume come in here. You didn't see the volume come in here until the May 13th. That was that initial pump, and then it held that $13 range for about a week or so, and then you had that huge explosion to the upside again, creating that FOMO, more or less the short squeeze, meaning the people that are short the stock can no longer hold the stock short because the price is going way past the expected move. Again, the expected move was, I think, $1.50 for the week, and it moved well over like $5, and then of course this gets compounded and that squeeze really gets moving, and we hit as of yesterday we hit $36.72. You can really see it's a great format for the Fibonacci sequence, because again, we hit that first level kind of around that 2034, then kind of closed around that 25, then hit that $31.73. Again, between some chat of some folks who are actually owning the stock, and I really have a really tough stomach and really has a high aptitude for risk, and saying the potential next level to really see this kind of break through would be that $50 range. Am I calling a top here? I have no idea. These short squeezes, these gamma squeezes, these kind of scenarios are extremely tough to predict. Again, I'm not saying predict in the sense like I know what's going to happen. It's just they really can just flip every which way, as you can see here as it close of Friday. And the site that sometimes I look at, folks are like, hey Ken, which stocks could be potentially next short squeezes? It's a very simple search. Again, a lot of people, this is not the most gun-ho like research here. It's just highshortinterest.com, and this isn't, again, it's very difficult because having a high short interest or high short float, meaning a lot of shares are short, that doesn't mean that it has that potential for gamma or the potential of a huge squeeze higher. It's just one indication out of many. But you can kind of see a lot of these names that were very popular last year. You have Workhorse, you have Clover Health, you have Blink, you have FUV, Bed Bath & Beyond. You remember that stock? Root, you have this one on track, Go with this Wi-Fi Small Direct, and you can kind of see going all the way down here to seeing these various names. Carvana's on here, FUBO, we talked about that one quite a bit. Of course, GameStop's here at the bottom only if the short interest is around 20%. So let's go ahead and look at that one real quick here. So we looked at AMC. GME didn't really make it made a move, but it didn't make that significant move like we saw in January. Like AMC was in a whole different realm, and it just passed and broke through its previous high. GME did not have that happen. I think this thing could substantially still be the top here, because again, there's no really break in that trend yet. But again, from that tippy top high, that's not the tippy top high, that's just the high for the open market hours or the cash market, not the pre or after market. I think I got up to well over $500. But that swing high, just the previous swing low here, we're seeing a lot of same kind of patterns here. We're seeing that 618, which is around that $313 range, kind of being some pretty significant resistance. More or less, you have the 50 percentile move, which is not actually a Fibonacci number, but it's a very key level between the high and low. It's the 50% marker, right? And that's the $261.50. You can see here that has been a pretty strong wall of resistance. Again, you saw Friday it did close down nearly 13%, hitting that level and just giving it pretty much all back. Hasn't filled the gap quite yet, so if it's closing below 210, that could be kind of a reversion back down to that key support around 180. So we'll see on how GME holds up there. Again, I didn't play this one, but I play a little bit of AMC, and then we did play Space. Again, Space did have a pretty substantial move here. Again, looking here at a 1-year review, it's been a hell of a ride, right? It went up to like nearly $63. And then again, that February kind of market move that we had with a lot of selling. People never ever knew what the 10-year yield curve was, and people were freaking out, and it was just selling, and just continued to sell off here substantially here, breaking through a lot of moving averages and not really making too much sense here, and just really seeing this trend really getting beat down here. Seeing a little bit of a trading opportunity. Again, didn't know to the full extent. After earnings, it was holding a pretty significant base around $16, so buying the $15 calls for January, and then selling them on the way up here, getting out of most of it around that $26, $27 range. Again, it did jump up quite substantially here. So initial support, if it does come down, would be around 25.72. But you can see here that previous number around 32.81 has been previous resistance here even before, from again that same kind of pattern. After earnings, about a week after earnings, it has a pretty substantial move. Week after earnings has a pretty substantial move. Hit this level, potentially can be coming down, but just being very mindful. Again, this is very risky, ladies and gentlemen, very risky. Another one, just let's do a quick bonus one, is BBBY. So this is Bed Bath & Beyond. This one's actually quite interesting here for myself, just because, again, after earnings had a huge move. After earnings did nothing here, right? But this one is holding. This is the green line here, is the 144 EMA. And if you haven't noticed, I made my charts just a little bit more less cluttery. So to make it a little bit more easier to read and kind of have people see that. You can kind of see here this little breakout move here. Some people would call this like a wedge breakout pattern here. If you're doing this kind of pattern here with this like what's it called, an ascending wedge kind of thing, where it's holding a straight line, and then we're seeing that pretty substantial move kick higher here. Again, you do see it coinciding with volume, which is good. So let's do a fib on this one, because it looks like I don't have a fib. Like that's very sad there, Ken. So looking here at the fib chart, okay, look at this. The 50 percentile move has been substantially resistance at $30.49. You can see here that I have an alert at 35.14. That kind of is right below that Fibonacci number here. And this level of $24.97 is another key level of support here. So this would potentially could be a nice risk to reward. Let me look at this on the weekly chart here. It's building somewhat of a squeeze here, but that is a pretty substantial move higher here. This could be an interesting risky one if you're willing to put a pretty tight stop in there. and willing to let it run if it does. Because if it does come back down to that $24-$25 level, that could be a pretty nice entry. Even though that $30 range, if it does break that 30-50, I think we could see 36 and even 43 again. These squeezes are very difficult to look at. We do see, again, on the short interest site, okay, yeah, does it have a lot of short interest? Hell yeah, it does. It's got 31.81. But we all know from all this other fun stuff that sometimes those could be misleading. There could be less or more outstanding shares on the sense of risking on people selling multiple lots of the same share short. It is what it is, right? But that being said, these squeezes are very risky. I think BBY, again, it was a previous a short squeeze. Could we see it again? Maybe. I think the entry point, again, I might risk a little bit. Again, this is what I mean by risking. I'm not risking 10, 5, or 3% of the count. It is less than like a 25 basis points of a percent that I'm willing to risk. So it could be a couple $100 to, it's probably going to be under like $1,000 in the sense of risking on this initial play. So on that, ladies and gentlemen, if you haven't already, I would greatly appreciate it if you run on over to the Discord, which is the link in the description. You can come join our Discord. We always have some fun chats talking about some stuff. Always great folks and ladies and gentlemen there, always talking from weather. We got our friend Alpaca. He loves his alpacas. He's an alpaca farmer there, and a lot of other great stuff that we share and talk about there. Completely free. Link in the description. Love to see you there, and I'd love to see you guys on the next live stream, which is going to be happening this Sunday at 9:30. We'll have another one on Monday because, again, we do have a long extended weekend here in the United States. All right, guys, ladies and gentlemen, catch you guys on the flip side. Peace.